So today we're going to blend with oil pastels in the sky spaces of your tree. When you're choosing your oil pastels, you want to choose analogous colors. Analogous colors are neighbors on the color wheel, so they're next to each other. We're going to choose analogous colors between two primary colors. So primary colors again are red, yellow, and blue. So I could choose from red to blue as my neighbors. I could choose from red to yellow as my neighbors, or I could choose from yellow to blue as my neighbors. So again, neighbors on the color wheel, they're called analogous colors. All right. Now when you're choosing your colors, you're only going to choose your two primary colors and then the secondary color in between. Those are the large circles of color on this color wheel. So I could choose red, violet, and blue, red, orange, and yellow, yellow, green, and blue. Okay. So when I'm coloring, you'll have to share your oil pastels with your table. If I want to, for instance, use red, orange, and yellow, I could go ahead and find a red oil pastel. I could find my orange, and I could find my yellow. Okay. I'm going to always blend in the same order that they are on the color wheel. So I'd have to go red, orange, yellow, or yellow, orange, red. So I'm going to go ahead and start with one color, red, and I'm going to color gently so I can still see the white paper. Okay, so kind of scratch like. Then I'm going to change to the next color, and I want part of this to overlap the red, and then some of it to just be orange, and then I need to think about that some of it's going to have to overlap the yellow. Okay, so here you can see that they're overlapping. Then I'm going to take my yellow, I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow, just color lightly, overlapping it with the orange. Okay, you can see I have red, red and orange overlapped, orange, yellow and orange overlapped, and yellow. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to take each of the colors and I'm going to color a little bit harder or more solid this time. You don't need to color necessarily harder, it just needs to be almost solid. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing with the orange, making sure that where they're overlapping, they're blending together. We want to create a gradient. So where they gradually change from one color to the next. And I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow, making sure where they overlap, they gradually change from one color to the next. I don't want it to be striped. Okay. So there I've blended three colors together. One thing that you don't want to do is have your oil pastels be next to each other like this. Okay. It's much harder to get them to blend this way. Okay, they don't blend as nicely. So we want to avoid that. So we're not going to do it that way. All right? I'm also going to show you how to blend one more time with the group of colors down here, red, violet, and blue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find a blue, a violet, and then my red. Okay. So when I'm blending with these colors, again I need to go in the order of the color wheel, and they go red, violet, and blue. Okay. It's important that you stay in the order of the color wheel because these two primary colors on the edge, red and blue, would make violet when they're mixed. So I'm going to go ahead and I could start with red again. Again, color nice and lightly so that we can see the white. I'm going to switch to my violet. Make sure that they're overlapping a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to move to my blue. Make sure that those are overlapping. And then I'm going to come back and do that again. Overlapping. They should blend nicely together where they're overlapping and not create stripes It's a little bit more tricky with these three colors than it was with the last three colors. Okay, so you can see it still looks kind of like stripes, so I'm just going to come back with the violet and blend one more time into that blue, nice and light there, and then with a little bit of red down here. Okay, and then I would say that looks nice and I could be done. Now if I wanted to continue in this space and I still had white after this blue, I couldn't jump just to red, I would have to go back to violet. And then I could go to red. But again, I would want to make sure that these are well blended, that I'm coloring with the strokes into one another instead of next to each other. So not like this, but going into each other. Okay. Blending with oil pastels is a lot of fun. They're really nice and soft. We are going to do one more step after you've finished coloring all the areas of your sky with the oil pastels. And that will involve a little bit more blending, but using baby oil.